kind of go with my gut instinct here and bring up the draft screen.
Okay, are you ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go? And
I'm the countdown guy. What is this? I'm the countdown.
I've decided I've taken helm of the Panzer. Straight off the bat, we are seeing the phase. It's a strong removal. Like we've been talking about this before. A lot of these teams may not have information on the team strategies or the way they like to play, the types of compositions they like, where they're sort of heavy poke or single target pick comps. So they just ban out heroes they just don't want to see. So
we have not seen a lot of phase this weekend at all. She's been pretty much banned out across the board every game.
It's more stuff actually enables so much more other heroes to do a lot more than they shouldn't really be able to do normally. The extra regen, the cooldown reduction, paired up with a number of heroes, that cooldown reduction can wreak havoc with that ultimate. If you can get a Grux double pain every second, it becomes incredibly hard to deal with, and you can take objectives really quickly.
Same thing with Crunch, Chimera. Yeah, like their abilities is just that cooldown and that ability to just run through whatever's in front of them. Quite literally, run through whatever's in front of them is very strong.
The first picks on the board, we see the Revenant coming out here from Toxic. Strong carry pick. They just want to get it as soon as possible in their draft. They really probably favor that pick overall. Otherwise, you wouldn't really go for it that early on, especially carry, unless you really want Revenant as your carry. Decker as well from Maelstrom was just an overall solid support pick. They secured forces Team Toxic onto like a Narbash or something different.
And it's going to be Howitzer up next for Team Toxic, leaving open leaving open a Wombo combo with that Decker still there for Gadget, but instead they're going to opt for the Bellica, have that double stun brought into the team fight as well. And their next pick is going to be the Kwang. Now, I like Kwang. Kwang is such a well-rounded hero. He's got a lot of team utility. He's got a bit of CC. He has damage. He has tank. Like, he's probably the most well-rounded hero in the game and the most versatile as far as team comps are concerned.
Yeah, I agree. He does go into the off lane really nicely. He can also go into the jungle should you want to take him there. Does it lack a little bit of gank potentials or gank pressure? But again, once he gets to the Heaven of Furies, once he gets to level 5, he has got a huge amount of power to back that up. And Severog coming out from Team Toxic, really solid jungler. We still see him time and time again throughout tournament play. Hasn't really fallen off at all since Monolith has really come in. It's been consistent sort of powerhouse jungler that, along with Grux, and I really do like these picks coming out. And Maelstrom, that Yin, and Countess as the last 2 picks. Countess is an interesting one because that's going to be a real huge deterrent for this Revenant here.
Yeah, I know. It can only do so much, Revenant, because Countess is going to be right around the corner. So he usually has to pick who he wants to ult. He might even have to use that ultimate just to escape the Countess more than not. Last pick of the game. Waiting the last few seconds. Team Toxic taking their time, and they're going to take the Narbash for their support. Overall, both teams have very well-rounded team comps, a lot of CC coming out of both of them. Team comps concerned, as far as team comps are concerned, I kind of want to give the edge to Team Toxic. I like a dedicated frontliner. I like CC on my team, and there's a lot of it. Maelstrom has a fairly well-rounded comp as well. They have CC, but I feel like Kwang is more of a second engage hero than anything else.
Well, with the way they've built their composition, Maelstrom have essentially what it comes up to as a pick style composition. They essentially just want Decker to hit the stasis bomb, and then you have Bellica full combo into Kwang full combo with Heather of Fury as well, and instantly remove one person from the fight, and then you have a 4v5 in your favor, and you could do that incredibly quickly with composition. They can make the 5v5 fights a 4v5 in literally a split second should they choose to, which is something Toxic are really going to have to play around, make sure that it isn't one of their prime targets. You don't really want it on the Howitzer or the Revenant to just get completely removed early, because that removes a lot of the damage coming out of Toxic, which makes their fights a lot more trickier to coordinate. So while Team Toxic, as you mentioned, have an overall stronger composition, Maelstrom, if they can execute this pick-based composition, they have a good solid strategy to to snowball and take sort of Prime incredibly quickly and just constantly take kill after kill really quickly, because of the power and the synergy within their team with sort of single one target high burst power.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much ready to get into the game. We'll see how this one goes. We saw Yin excel very well last game, which is interesting because a lot of people have felt Yin has fallen off over the past little while. More than anything else, she's still a strong hero. It's just the longer cooldown on her Windburn ability. That I believe is the cleave, right?
Yeah, it's the Windburn, I believe. Yeah. You're right.
The longer cooldown on that and the reduced range has really deterred a lot of people from picking her.
Yeah.
But she showed pretty strongly so far, so we'll see how she plays out in just a second. If you're ready, Gems.
I am ready there and waiting.
I'll be nice and you can do the countdown if you so chose.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, and there we go. Starting game 3 of the Exhibition NA qualifiers, brought to you by the PCL. I am Geronimo Jack, and I am here with Gems today. We will be casting the final game that we are streaming. And to introduce the teams on Maelstrom, it will be the Elder Stover on Kwong, I Eat Zed for Brunch on Yin, 5-man invade in the left lane? In the right lane?
We've been seeing that a number of teams do this. They take this pathing.
But why would they wrap
through
around the tower?
Because you don't usually have someone sitting at the tower. They're usually going for the wards, and it's a safer path where you can try to get a little pick here in the jungle if there's someone standing there at the entrance. And as we saw, it does pay out for them. They managed to get that sort of slightly deeper ward that they were looking for, and make sure that we don't see Toxic actually get a ward in that river. And as I mentioned, Toxic, on the side of Ton Toxic, we had Zed Best 13 on the Howitzer, Toxic Vol on Narbash, Fireweed 61 on the Feng Mao, Toxic King on that Revenant, and Mexico Joe on that Severog.
All right, and to finish the team comp off, because we didn't get there, Efra Legend is going to be in the mid lane on Belka, Lebanese Kid on the Decker as the support. No Perk bringing out his main, or one of his mains, on the Countess. So we see, it's very interesting to see how No Perk and Efra Legend do in a more competitive tournament setting, because I'm familiar with them in solo queue. I haven't known they were on a team or would be joining the team. Kind of curious to see how they play out in a tournament setting, you know, in an actual competitive game. But we'll see how the game progresses as far as that is concerned.
In terms of starting items, it's fairly straightforward, but you are seeing the Quang jungle, as I was talking about earlier. Crux was available, so they've elected Elder Stover to actually go onto the Quang, potentially liking that extra little bit of sustain that he does get with that passive lifesteal and
and No Perk
going to survive.
No Perk picking the kill and surviving with very little health. However, he runs in the opposite direction into his jungle, and Toxic King Teeny is going to pick up the kill onto that one.
Not the end of the world. Perk managing to grab a kill for himself. He does get a little bit of card power as the counters. You're not going to be too upset about that. Yes, Toxic King does get stuff as well. However, counters can just remove him in the later stages of the game if we can see No Perk jump onto him before sort of the Narbash Thunk actually appears, and that might be in itself a potential issue here for the side of Toxic.
All right, and Lebanese Kid and I Eat Zed for Brunch are trying to push down that tower and get the tower damage off. Minions are starting to go under. They have the siege minion. The stasis bomb will go out, will not land, hits the tower instead of the Feng Mao. Both junglers not going for ganks, just going for farm. Mexico Joe has a ward on top of him, so they have complete accountability as far as the Severog is concerned. The Team Maelstrom knows exactly where he is and what's going on. Pretty quiet early game aside from that one kill we just saw not too long ago.
Fireweed taking a little bit of damage here in his off lane. Is going to be a little bit low. Doesn't have any more health pots as well. Make this a defense for him incredibly tricky. He's going to be heavily reliant on that conversion shield. But one thing to note is that Lebanese Kid also has a really low mana, so the chance of a stasis bomb coming out is going to be pretty low. So he's going to be able to get some extra levels here, try to get to that level 5, get access to his ultimate. But Elder Silver is here to try and stop that from happening.
Elder Silver's looking to dive in. Minions going to tower. Fireweed has no ideas there. There's the light of the heavens to add the tank and the damage. Tether goes out. It does land with the stasis bomb. Zed trying to land the autos, but missing. He's now catching his team under the tower. But he does manage to get the one that counts, and that's the one that kills. Mexico Joe now running in to throw out the subjugate. It will miss. Zed trying to get fresh at the Severhog over here, just wailing away on him. Using that Windburn to burn him down.
Yeah, Mexico Joe's going to be okay. He's going to just soak up what's left of this lane for himself. And as we can see already straight off the bat, we do see Maelstrom getting a slight lead here. We can see Ephra Legend sitting at 8 points in the mid lane, slightly ahead of Zed. This is only at 6, just because of farm differences. 15-point lead in farm just there. You can also see Zed for Brunch at 8 points as well, which is going to be really good. Early game lead. However, Toxic King with that kill has actually been able to keep up. Has a couple more minions as well there. So let me just see how this pans out, and if we could see any sort of bigger leads emerging here.
Yeah, the game is very close right now. Like you said, not too big of a card difference. And the CS differentials are very small, 85 to 77 now. Only 8 difference across the team for both teams. We are having Revenant, King Teeny, and Vol starting to rotate in, get the tower damage off. No Perk trying to do what he can, but he's already used the Shadow Slip to clear out a minion. Does manage...
Yeah, that's the one thing I like about counters offlane. You have that Shadow Slip, just can remove... You can guarantee yourself a minion kill per wave, which is incredibly handy. It means that no matter what, you can try and get a kill on a minion and potentially get out of a sticky situation you need to. Obviously, you don't want to be using that ability too much because the mana costs are incredibly high. But timed correctly, it can give you a little bit of an advantage.
Elder Stoller now rotating in. There is going to be the Shadow Slip coming out of no perk to slow down. Thunk followed up by Vol to stop the aggression. However, Ephra Legend is there as well. There is the Feast to finish the job off. Vol not able to peel for his carry. 3v1. Very unfortunate.
Really strong rotation coming up from Ephra Legend. Recognized that there was a potential kill on that side of the lane and that the duo lane had pushed up quite far. However, we also see on top of the other side, Zed for Brunch also getting that tier 1 tower 6 minutes into the game. A bit early, even though they don't really need to swap sides. But again, they can't really complain. But like Fireweed now has the opportunity to like freeze the lane. It's going to be incredibly important to keep track of. If he's actually going to push this, it actually could be a huge problem for them, because then it means Yin and Deca are actually going to get access to that wave again instead of having to try and look elsewhere for resources.
Which they currently are, running through the jungle. That's going to starve Mexico Joe. The Kwong. Elder Stover getting engaged on Subjugate will not land. There is the Colossal Blow, which will. No perk nearby, trying to help out. Green buff's there. The Tether will drop. Engagement overall not going to work out in Mexico Joe's favor the way he wanted to, but he gets a white camp as a consolation prize. In the right lane, it did allow Toxic Vol and King Teeny to take down the turret, as No Perk had to rotate into the jungle to try and help out the Kwong from getting engaged on any further. Mid lane tower now being pushed. Ephra Legend the only one there. 1v3. Tower being burned down. He's doing what he can. Dropping the drone out. He gets knocked up. Will be Toxic Vol. Elder Stover now turning the Stasis Bomb because that actually bounces off the corner of the wall instead of hitting the howitzer. Going back into Decker's face. And
yeah, it's looking again like neither team has. They're posturing in this mid lane, which is a bit interesting to see 8 minutes in, because it's these tier 1 towers. Yes, they're not that hard to take when there's no one at them, but when there's a few heroes standing there, especially heroes with a lot of wave clear, they become phenomenally hard to take. And all you're doing is essentially wasting a bit of time here. splitting out your CXP, splitting out your levels as well across a number of different people for,
I mean,
potentially a couple of ticks of damage.
we have an ARAM right now. What are you complaining about? No Perk running in from the back as Howitzer uses the Make It Rain. No Perk now caught between two towers and a Sevarog who misses the colossal blow. Shadow Slip goes out. However, No Perk is going to go down 1v5, getting himself stuck in a bad position. Zed now getting hit by the Subjugate. He's going to use the repositioning tool from the Yin to get back under his tower. Overall, that could have been a very good engagement from Maelstrom. However, the Make It Rain, I don't even think that was an intentional move. Like, he was just trying to stop the siege. I don't think they knew the Countess was behind them, but as soon as that wave got cleared from the Make It Rain, that put No Perk into such a poor position. And Sevarog came right behind him, and I was just clump, just glomp him.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you went for that play, but you didn't have vision of that side of the jungle. Like you didn't have control of wards, so it was incredibly risky to do that, and ends up actually being punished. As we can already see, look at the wards from Elder's Thunder. He has a ward around that, around the tier 1 on both sides of the map.
Colossal Mexico Joe, looking to get the ultimate off, will actually not decide to use it on the subjugated No Perk that we just saw over there. Gonna rotate into the jungle now, try and get themselves some farm. Raptors are up now for the past 30 seconds. A vault in the right lane. There is wards. Zed's gonna go out and try and clear them. As soon as he shows himself, the dual lane for Team Toxic is gonna back up. Kwong right now.
Mexico Joe just grabbed his green buff potentially before the Raptors start. So they decided to go for them, but in the end jumps off of them. I think it was just potentially clearing out some vision. Neither team really want to go for it. If we're looking at builds, Toxic Vol has actually got the quenching complete. The same can't really be said for Lebanese Kid, because he elected to get that extra circuit of health. You're gonna have to sell that if you don't want to get the completed quenching seals. I'd like to see that, especially before a big fight around the Raptor pit. Getting extra AoE heal for your team when there's a Howitzer ultimate with the Make It Rain going down makes it makes a huge difference in terms of survivability.
Mexico Joe opting to use the green buff to just farm away. I feel like he needs to back very shortly because he's not super healthy, and if there was a Raptor fight to be broken out, it would cause a bit of an issue. 3 people stacked up in the left lane versus the dual lane of Toxic. After Legend in the mid lane was kind of dueling out with Howitzer just a little bit, trying to get the map pressure off. And there we see Sevarog going for the back that we were just talking about.
Yeah, his green buff's probably going to run out before he can make any use of it. Neither team making sort of any concerted efforts for this Raptors. They're kind of just okay leaving it there for now. Drop a little bit of vision on them and just wait it out. Card point wise, where you can already see a slight lead with Ephra Legend against Zedbess, and we can also see IZ for Brunch having a slight lead. Over Toxic King. Actually, it's more than slightly. It's a good 6-point lead right now, unless I'm getting the spectator bug where Toxic King hasn't been updating his points.
Alright, Ephra Legend is trying to clear the minion wave out from Sevarog at the time. Oh, bit of a camera bug going on there. 20 seconds until River Buff spawns. People are starting to group around the Raptor pit. They realize it's going to be something important to take very, very shortly. As soon as that pit comes out, someone's going to be hopping on those bad boys. Get themselves some extra CP. Both carries on the left side of the map. Both offlaners on the right. 3 people stacked mid for the past few minutes. Bus will come up. Black buff on one. Double black buff, actually. Mexico Joe picking it up. And they're looking to fight. Yin getting the other black buff. So we'll see how this one progresses through. As Toxic is beginning to push down the tier 1. Zed gets caught out, stunned, and thrown across the map. He's going to try and reposition himself with the whip. No, he goes down to the Howitzer as Elderstover using the Heaven's Fury to get himself a kill inside of that containment fence. Score now 2 for 1 in that team fight. Ephra Legend now in trouble. There's a stasis jump coming out of Lebanese Kid to try and peel for the team. Seismic assault as well. Won't be enough. Mexico Joe is using that big hammer to knock the block of the Bellica right off her head.
3 for 1 on the side of Toxic. Yes, Revenant did end up falling there. Wasn't able to get a couple of extra kills with the passive on his ultimate. However, he's now sitting at 19 points. So I think it was a visual bug for me, but again, 19 points equal to IEZ Brunch. Raptor's still up. There's another objective there for them to take. But more importantly, Mexico Joe sitting also at 19 points. And Severog, being able to get some kills, getting extra points, will just increase that extra durability he can get. Let alone not including the stacks and what he gets passively. He's going to have now cards to back that up as well.
And there's Lebanese Kid getting hit by the ultimate. Revenant trying to walk away right now, but there's a replay bug that actually removes Revenant off the off the map when he ults. So he's like, I have no idea where he goes, to be perfectly honest. Gold buff is spawning in 10 seconds as well as the rear buffs. We do have Maelstrom position themselves to grab that one. Severog ready to dash in, misses the colossal blow on F for Legend. R2000 will hit. Subjugate does land after that. Siphon going out. Azure Legend in a lot of trouble. He's going to try and use the Cyclone Salt to get the blue buff and run away. Won't be enough. Followed up, R2000 Rocket will finish the job off. We now have Toxic grouping up in the mid lane. I think they're trying to finally take down that tier 1 tower both teams have basically been playing ARAM for. Surprised no one's going for Raptors though right now, Gems.
Yeah, they don't need to though. They can just constantly carry with this push. They can probably try to get another pick or two on the board, then go for it, because he talks about going incredibly deep right here on the Narbash.
Oh, double subjugate, colossal blow goes out onto No Perk, who gets hit in the crash bang boom. The Ender dreams to finish it off, but Maelstrom's not done yet. The Tether and Heaven Sphere go out to pick a kill onto the Narbash. They now have no mana on Toxic, but they are pushing forward. Quenching Scales comes out of Lebanese Kid. In the right lane, Feng Mao's been wheeling away at a tier 2 all on his own. Yin rotating over to try and clear the wave as the mid lane is getting pushed. F for Legend doing a great job of securing a kill onto Revenant. The Light of the Heavens will go out onto Howitzer, who's taking damage as well. F for Legend's going to pick up another kill onto the Howitzer. In the right lane, Zed on the Yin is going to win the fight over the Feng Mao, but at a cost. The tier 2 tower does go down. Now it's Maelstrom on the advantage as they begin to push down their own tier 1 tower against the enemy team. Mexico Joe has to back. The stasis bomb goes out. It will miss, but Mexico Joe does flinch, and now he's stuck under tower. Not able to back with no mana. He's going to push up, use the last bit of his mana to get the siphon off on Elder Stover. Team is now respawning, coming back in. We have King Teeny and Vol for Toxic coming in to clear the wave out. And that is going to be the overall push for both sides of the game. No Perk picking up a red buff, and F for Legend picking up the blue buff on the side of the map. This does give Maelstrom the advantage to do what they want. Raptors have been up for the past few minutes, Gems. No one has bothered to really go for them, surprisingly enough.
They haven't really had a need for them, to be honest. It's kind of like they've been taking fights around other objectives. So that the Raptor objective was not really... Like, a lot of teams, what they do is they'll use Raptors as a reason to fight. They want to look for that fight around it because they haven't already in the lead. So they say, look, either you fight us here with this lead, or we're going to take Raptors and have a bigger lead and force you to fight at another objective with this increased lead we've now built from the CXP. And we can already see right now, Mexico Joe, sitting at 24 points, has got that Blood Soaked, has got that Whirling One, and a completed Elder Mage Amulet.
He's got the attack speed.
Yeah, he's got a bit of attack speed, which is really helpful in several because he has a really slow base attack speed, and his power is actually pretty high. What I do love is the Mad Spell Dash as well. That we see a lot of tanks picking up right now. Just the AoE tick burn that it does, ability damage burn sort of thing that it's doing is really strong and gives you also really nice stats you can build into it. So you can slot, even though it doesn't have an upgrade bonus, you can just slot an extra bit of basic armor in there to give you that extra survivability.
Teams are positioning themselves. They're looking to go in on the deck, and the Yin subject goes out. It will miss. Containment field is dropped to peel for the team. Catching the Howitzer, who does a great job putting the landmine under the staircase to bring him back into lane. There's a team fight over on as Make It Rain is dropped to zone out the enemy team from engaging, leaving Mexico Joe and Toxic Vol now in a 3v2 situation. Vol goes down to Zed. Teams engaging on to the rest. No perk coming in, picks up a kill onto the Revenant. He's going to drop and back as the rest of the team is beginning to keep on with their push. Mexico Joe had the chance to get out, and he's going to walk away, go pick up the buff on that side.
Meanwhile, Fireweed is going for this inhibitor. He has a lot of minions. Will he be able to trade this inhibitor for his own life? He looks like he's trying to do that, but I don't think he has the damage for it.
Oh, my map bugged at the right time. However, Fireweed does go down. Overall, that's a good pickup for Maelstrom. 3 for nothing. Inhibitor not managed to be taken out of Team Toxic. Valiant effort, though.
Incredibly close, and that could have potentially swung the game heavily in favor here on the side of Maelstrom. However, we do see Mexico Joe coming in here, going for that colossal blow, but not going to take much off of it. And neither team really. It's 1-for-1 trades just consistently across the board now, like an extra 1-for-1 trade here now.
All right, and there was a pickup that's going to be Bellica, and Bellica going down. Surprised no one's going down. I'm expecting an objective play to be taken here. There's been a lot of tug of war, push and pull coming out of both teams in the lanes trying to take something. There we go, my map's back now, that's good. Oh, Raptors are being taken as we said it. Mini-map doing the stealth mode. Zed's gonna be picking up the Raptors, gets all 3 of them. Now Toxic Keeney getting hit. He's gonna use the ultimate, trying to get out of there. Double crash, bang, boom. Vol doing a job appealing for the team. There's the subjugate, not the subjugate. There goes. The judgment of the heavens is gonna land on the Revenant and actually pick up the kill. And that's both the dual lane members up. Toxic going down. Subject goes out onto Stover. R2000 Rocket to follow up, getting some good damage out into the Kwong. Quenching Scales is burned to provide some health for their teammates. No perk in the mid lane right now. He's looking to push up. I'm thinking
this is the power of the comp I was talking about in the pick ban, where if they can get a pick, which is what they've been doing successfully time and time again, they're in such a favorable position in 4v5 fights. So just statistically, but because of players, they're just 4v5, so they have more health bars, more power output, and they're removing a key source of damage here, usually on Revenant, but they have also been picking out Zbest and Toxic Vol a lot throughout this game. I think Toxic Vol has been picked a number of times here, seeing at 0-4. Kind of why they've been able to take this advantage. Toxic King and Toxic Vol both have been caught out on numerous occasions.
If anyone is wondering, this game is being streamed live. If you do have the results of the game, please do not post them in chats. Spoilers are not appreciated here. You will be timed out and eventually banned if it keeps up. Just as a heads up. 22 minutes into the game right now, you are watching Maelstrom versus Team Toxic. This is the last game of the day for Stream 2 of the Exhibition NA Qualifiers, brought to you by us at the PCL. If you're wondering who's casting right now, I, the man with the funny voice, am Geronimo Jack. He, the man with the funny hairline, is Gems. He's looking at me funny, I can see it.
Okay, so if we're just looking at how the game's actually progressing, Fireweed is sitting at 28 points, gone for a heavy damage Feng Mao build, which means he's gonna not have the survivability you see a lot of Fangs have. However, he will be able to take duels, 1v1
oh
duels
my god, that feast damage is coming out strong. No perk, obliterating. Not to confuse the Revenant ability, but obliterating the Feng Mao right off the map with the help of Elder Stober on the Kwong. And here we go. We are seeing a defense in the mid lane. I want to see an objective. They have another pick. They've had pick after pick after pick, but they've not really done anything with it.
They don't need to at this point. They just want to substantiate their lead. You can see Zephyr sitting at 40 points on Yin, really far ahead of the pack, ahead in farm as well. To the respective carry, over 50 farm ahead of Toxic King, which means that Zephyr Brunch is going to be eating King for brunch today instead of Zed. Different game, guys. This is Paragon.
This is Paragon.
Gonna eat Revenant.
All right, we have some game volume issues. If you guys hear the game bug out for half a second, I'm trying to navigate through other things. As there is no man behind the curtain I am the man behind the curtain with the microphone, so I have to navigate through a few other things. We are seeing Vol get ready to go on to the Orb Prime side of things. It is warded up right now. No perk right now. Oh, Seismic Assault going out onto Vol. It will miss.
And we are seeing the Prime showdown trying to get vision as well. Like, even, like, we're seeing the controller mode. Both teams have a warden on the Prime itself. Makes it a little bit more trickier to clear. You kind of need someone else to get there with you so you don't take a couple of extra hits.
It's so frustrating.
As you can see, they haven't been able to clear it yet again. Just forced to use the spell from long range to do a little bit of extra damage. And I'm sort of favouring Maelstrom at this point in the game. We were talking about this earlier where Toxic we thought had the stronger overall composition. But if Maelstrom managed to get these picks, they're going to be able to take a lot more from it. And these picks, we've been seeing them time and time again. No perk, doing incredibly well on his counters.
And he's going in once again. He misses the Dark Dive, but he's going to Shadow Slip in. There's the Quang with the tether. Heaven's Fury goes out. Feast goes out to half health Fireweed. He uses the hamstring to try and peel for himself, and then he's going to use the Reaping Dash. No perk, not able to follow up the Shadow Slip. The march coming out of the Narbash to try and engage in their team, but Ephra Legend and Melodies Kid are right behind them. Toxic Teeny and Vol now in trouble. Crash Bang Boom going out to try and peel, but no perk is there to Shadow Slip to dodge it. And then we have Ephra Legend to follow up and finish the kill off onto the Narbash. The Make It Rain comes out. It's Mexico Joe with the Colossal Blow. And then the Subjugate Eldestrover using the Stasis Gem to try and peel for himself, followed up by the Tether. Ephra Legend going to add some extra peel with the Seismic Assault, but it will miss. There's the Blink out of Z-Bay. The Landmine knocking Stover back. Subjugate to finish the job off. 1-for-1 team fight. A lot of ultimates being burned off in that fight for such a small pick on both teams. However, great synergy coming out of Toxic after they lost their Narbash, following up, making sure they're still in the game, they're still in the fight.
Yeah, it was really good. It's one of those things that's really hard to be able to judge. It's even if you have a player down, do you still carry on with the fight? Can you still take it? Because they might have used a lot of their resources. And in this case, we saw a lot of resources coming out, especially from No Perk. He's already used the Beast beforehand, so he managed to know how ultimate was available. I believe no Mao ultimate was available as well.
And there's No Perk picking another kill, this time on to Sevarog. They were trying to siege the turret down, but everyone has respawned, and they're going to back off on that one. Go with yet another pick and walk away. I want to see a Prime. I want to see something. I want to see the game deciding move. Because No Perk shows that No Perk and the rest of his team on Maelstrom are showing they have the team fight potential, the pick potential. But the issue is, like, they're not doing anything with it.
They don't. I was talking about this before. They still don't need to. There's still a lot of room for them to carry on gaining. They need to get to sort of the later stages of the game with points. However,
they are on Prime now.
They're going for the Prime right now. They're gonna most likely secure this. They have a lot of control of the vision inside the pit, but not outside in the river, which means they're not going to be able to see any rotations coming out from Toxic should they go to contested.
Fireweed going in, getting hit by the Seismic Assault. He's trying to make the distance. The Earth Shatter might come out. Crash Bang Boom goes out. However, it's Zed to finish it off. Fireweed not able to steal it. Howitzer getting to Make It Rain to pick himself up a kill onto Yin. 2 down now for the Prime, and Ephra Legend getting a kill onto Fireweed, who finally goes down after being the first one in. Oh, No Perk going for the Feast. However, I was stopped. Ephra Legend now being hit by a Colossal Blow, and then a Subjugate combination. Siphon there to slow him down a little further. And he's just trying to get away, but the Sevarog is just so huge and so hard to stop. Seismic Assault will land at the peel. Dash goes in. Toxifall there with the Thunk. Subjugate lands. And that is a dead Bellica. So they did secure Prime, but they're losing for... Oh, No Perks. Shadow slipping in. And blinking out right after doing a clean kill on the Revenant.
Really nice play from No Perks. Yeah, he took a little bit of damage at the initial parts of the fight, but he used the regen from the Prime to be able to just sort of wait it out a little bit and bided his time to then get a sort of counter kill there on the carry, get Revenant down and out of this match. It was a bit of a messy fight here on the Prime, but they do manage to secure it on the side of Maelstrom. the issue now is that a lot of their teams have lost buff, which means the next push that they probably want to do is going to be a little bit, and it gives the side of Toxic a little bit more leeway into how they can defend it, what they can do to defend it, and who to focus down more importantly, because some of them will not have that regen available.
Looking at card points and kills and just the scoreboard in general, score is 20-12 in favor of Maelstrom. No perk at 42 card points, actually ahead of everyone on Team Toxic. Yin sitting at 49 card points, very far ahead of everyone else on the team. Funny enough, Toxic, even though there's a clear CP disadvantage, they're still doing a great job. Oh my god, Yin murdering the Howitzer, using the Quelling Gale to add the peel, as now Toxic Vol gets this thunk thrown right back in his face. Ult goes out onto, I believe, the Decker. He's going to use the Obliterate onto Zed. However, Zed is the one to finish the job, not going down inside the Nether Realm. Containment fence is going to be put onto the Narbash, and Narbash goes down as well. Mexico.
It's gonna allow no perk to actually get some damage here on the tier 2. The wave was there. Mexico Joe's last thing was there to defend it. This is the push we've been waiting for. You're waiting for sort of a turning point here on the side of Maelstrom. This pick composition is working out perfectly for them. So far, they've been able to consistently take out one guy, remove him from the fight. High priority picks, removing the Narbash, removing the Revenant. There's no crash bang boom, there's no thunk. Huge priority CC here.
And they are beginning to
fire on this inhibitor.
Yeah, they are looking down to siege the tower, siege the inhibitor. After Legend managed to pick up a kill onto Firebreed. Mexico Joe at no health. He's got to back off. 7 minions now under tower. This could very well be inhibitor going down, but not without a fight, as Vol and Teeny are now joining in. There is Zed being engaged on, using the Quelling Gale to stop the Obliterate entirely from going, and the inhibitor will fall down. Elder Stove. Oh, there's the rest of the Obliterate to follow up on the Yin and finish the job off. Seconds later, after Legend going in for a stasis, for a seismic assault, as the stasis gem from Elder Stover goes in, following up his Heaven's Fury. He got a lot of damage off, but no one's there to really follow up on him, so he ends up getting picked off 1v3.
They do lose a couple of kills there, but they do manage to kill that inhibitor. And also, in the meanwhile, all the other lanes are pushing into the towers. Maelstrom didn't end up on top. Yes, they ended up giving up a couple of kills, potentially that they didn't necessarily need. However, they have a substantial lead in terms of card power. And more importantly, they now have super minions now pushing down this far side of the map. I know far side because it's the furthest away from the Prime, which is going to be coming up in the next couple of minutes. So they can use that as a ticking time clock when they wait around the Prime and force Toxic to respond to it, remove it and clear it, or fight over the Prime and potentially have their base destroyed from the minion.
I'm just going to go back and forward just a few seconds to fix a bug that I'm having in here. I'm at 23, 20, 32... 26, 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
Okay, you're good? Cool. Yeah, I just needed to get that out of the way there because Howither's been bugged for the past few minutes. Looking at the teams coming out. Prime spawning in just a few minutes. River spawning in 20 seconds. Last rotation, black and blue. This rotation, whatever it is, could actually be very good news for Maelstrom. If they get another black onto that Yin, that'd be huge. Because Yin is just doing all that. Look at that damage onto those Raptors. Before the Windburn can even go down, she's already cleared it. Elder Stove picking up the blue buff. Purple buff spawns on the other side. If we can get no perk over there, that's going to be very good news for Maelstrom. They're now running through the enemy jungle onto the left side of the map. They are warded, so the team does know they're there. And they're going to decide to back off as soon as they see Yin come on the board. No perk rotating over to the purple buff. He does manage to find it, autos it, gets it. He is under vision, so they do know he's there as he's trying to walk away. Get himself a pick, maybe onto that Fang Mao. Looking to rotate into the mid lane. I think he has his eyes set out on that Revenant, who currently doesn't have anyone nearby him. And there it is. Team goes under tower, and he's just waiting to make his move. As soon as they engage, he's going on that Revenant. He's under tower now as Mexico Joe gets a colossal blow on to Afro Legend. Fireweed going for the Earth Shatter will not land on anyone. There is the Heavens Free to follow up the tether. No perk, just waiting around the corner of the map. He actually doesn't get to use the purple.
He doesn't get to use it. However, he managed to dodge the Earth Shatter from Fang using the slip.
Oh,
and he's now forcing the other lane here now into the core, which is going to make this tier 1 tower defense incredibly difficult. Also, Prime is spawning, so they can just retreat and go and take it, and they have the advantage of they're going to be there first. They're going to have to control the vision, and they have all the waves pushing in their favor.
Oh, I feel like no, we have Howitzer DC'd for the past few minutes, so it's a 4v5 off the bat. 2 people going down, and unfortunately, rules state that if someone DCs after the first 3 minutes, the game shall go on. As the inhibitor goes down, Toxic Vol in a lot of trouble, but he will make it under his fountain to regen back up. 2 inhibitors down, looking to push, and I believe that will be game, as their mid laner, the man who's there to stop the siege that's happening right now, is actually not connected. Fireweed taking a lot of damage out of the Yin. And there's a Seismic Assault. He might actually die under his own fountain. I think they're looking to take it. Nope. They're going to focus the objective. They're going to get the core. They're going to win the game. 26-14. Maelstrom coming out on top of Team Toxic.
This is the pick comp we were talking about. We were talking. I keep bringing this back up. At the beginning of the draft, we were saying Toxic had sort of the overall stronger team fighting composition. However, the pick composition shouldn't ever be underestimated on the side of Maelstrom, and we could see the power of that. Yes, it's a shame at the end of the last couple minutes, Zbest wasn't available, but for the vast majority of the game, Nopa was wreaking havoc on that. This consistent feast, taking out Revenant. Toxic King wasn't able to really do much throughout a lot of that game. It made it incredibly difficult for him. And I8Z for Brunch was really far ahead on Yin. So the 1v1 matchups that I8Z for Brunch was against King that we saw, I think, a couple of times, it always ended up in the favor of the Yin because of the power and the card lead and the Raptor control. They managed to get sort of in the mid-game 20-minute mark.
Yeah. So overall, very strong games out today. First game, Team Oxygen versus Cold-Blooded Killers. Oxygen completely showing the dominance of that game, not allowing Cold-Blooded Killers to even get a single kill in the game. Second game, we saw Hazelnut Nightmare versus Epiphany. Epiphany, it was even in the start. Just to recap everything that's happened today, pretty even in the start, pretty slow going, but Epiphany was able to squeeze out a slightly larger lead every team fight as the game progressed. Eventually that stacks up, and they were able to take the game using the large lead they built up over the course of the game to actually secure themselves a win. And in this game, we saw Toxic put a great fight up, even though they were behind the majority of the game. They were still able to win fights, win important fights that they were down for. Unfortunately, Zbez disconnects, and that takes them right out of the game.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate ending to a really great match, and congratulations as well for Maelstrom for winning that game yet again. They showed the power of pick compositions where you take out single targets. A lot of teams favor the sort of team fight compositions, whereas this was heavy single target removal, and they didn't really have much apart from that. So if they didn't actually remove anyone at the beginning of their fight, they potentially could have fallen flat, but they managed to get the lead early on, and they had the power of the Yin opening and helping out in fights using so much aggressive plays from the end. I think we saw throughout the game, we managed to see consistent sort of backlashes into fights, into the Narbash crash bang boom.
He threw Narbash's thunk into his own face a couple of times, which is pretty fun to do. And that I liked the obliterate, using the Quelling Gale to stop the obliterate, but then it just hovered there in the air for about 5 to 10 seconds and went back and killed her anyways. So that was my personal highlight, Gems. With that being said, that is the last game for the day, guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit that follow button on both PCL1 and PCL2 Twitch channels. Or if you really like what we do, hit subscribe. It helps the cast, it helps the stream, it helps the players. Everything gets put back into the tournaments and the PCL. That's a guarantee. With that being said, we're going to head out of here. We're going to hit up a host in just a second. When we figure that out, we'll let you know. I am Geronimo Jack. This is my man, Gems. No, he's on this side today. This is Gems. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks for everyone who played today. Thank you for all the teams having such great games. And thank you for everyone who stuck around to watch. Because this all wouldn't happen without the community showing up for it, right? We'll see you in 2 weeks.